toward his virgin. If she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not, let them marry. Anybody got insight on it?
How young were they married?
That's the perfect question for that verse. Number one, what is the flower of the age?
A girl's menstruation? A girl's menstruation?
Right. As soon as a woman comes onto her period, that's the flower of her age. Now, how young does that happen?
9.
Very young.
9, some cases 8,
10 or 12? I don't know.
sometimes
10 or
10.
11 is the latest?
I mean, they're not developed really,
They're
but
kids.
as soon as they, they're able to have their period, then Paul is saying you're allowed to marry them now.
Because they can have kids.
They're actually able to get pregnant.
He didn't sin by doing that with her.
Now,
But that
If-
person's gonna be the same age too.
yeah, but you
That's an
better
old man.
think back. Wait a minute. There are marriages that are prearranged by parents that had their daughters, and they give them away to 30-year-old, 40-year-old. Oh yeah, it's still going on till now.
Still.
Yeah, in
Everywhere.
Muslim countries?
Muslim.
Yeah,
Muslim, Indian.
especially in Muslim countries, it's rampant right now.
African countries, Muslim countries.
It's unfortunate, but in Africa, I've seen too many times documentaries where as soon as the woman has her period, they're having a huge festival because now she's able to be entered. It's just, and unfortunately in Africa, they'll circumcise the woman to take away her pleasure so she doesn't have pleasure. And they do that for the purpose that she won't actually go commit adultery. That she really doesn't have any pleasure in the marriage, so they take away her pleasure.
Just to have babies and for him to have pleasure.
That's it.
They should cut his too.
That's the African
He
culture.
can commit adultery too.
Absolutely.
So why does he get away with it?
Now,
Just have a scissor ready.
this is one of those commandments that I've been troubled with till today.
So wrong.
I can't imagine in society if I go down to the city hall and say, here's my wife, 10. She's 10. And I go to city hall, and the city hall says, according to the law, you're not allowed to marry her. You have to get permission from the parents. And the parents are saying, yeah, here's my permission.
Yeah, but look at right now, just for example, in my country, there is a certain age requirements when you are going to marry. If you're gonna go to, like, you're 14, you're not allowed Christianity in there. You're not allowed. So even if you reach 20, 24, you still needs the permission of the parents. You can
Really?
marry in there, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Under here,
So
if
at what
you're,
age are you they're considered adult?
As long as, for example, you are only not bound into the permission of the parents, without the permission of the parents, you can never marry. So, at the age of 25 or 26 above, now you are free. You can marry by yourself without the permission of the parents. They need
At
your
25?
signature.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
So that's when they're considered adult?
Yeah.
Divorce is illegal in your country.
Because they need your signature, permission.
you can imagine. But dealing with what Paul wrote here, I struggle with it till today.
Yeah, that's a struggle.
That's a hard one.
And to think that's a will of God in Christianity, I struggle with it. But
Yeah, but how can you just now say that we also has to abide in the law of the land? So just like my country, you're not allowed to marry. And parents there, they are not just like allowing you to marry.
you're right, there
So-
are other commandments in the Bible that say you have to obey the law of the land. And if the law of the land says you can't marry unless they're 16,
Then
You have to
that.
follow
then you
that
follow
one.
that. But I don't know what the law is anymore in Canada. Like, I called the
It was
police.
14. Yeah.
I called the police back in the 90s because one of the brethren ran away from home, and I said she's 15, and the police officer told me, listen, they're allowed to leave home at 12, legally.
I thought it was 14.
This is in the 90s. They're allowed to leave home at 12, as long as they can prove they got a roof over their head. So the police will actually search out that where they're going, they're going to be provided for. So I've got no idea where they've gone right now in the age for marriage. I don't know where it is in Canada. It was 16 when I was a child. It was 16. But if you got married at 16, you had to have consent from your parent. But once you reach 18, you legally don't need consent. And things, as you know, only degress. They're not getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was 16 back then, in the 70s, like where is it now?
I think it's still 18.
It is still
It's not.
16 because I remember when Thea was 16 years old and she wouldn't come home at her curfew, and at one time I had to call the police, and when they came to the house and wanted to know where she's going and all of these things, and they asked, how old is she? And I said she's 16 years old, and he said no, she's allowed. There's nothing I can do about it because she's
Hello?
considered an adult,
Yeah, it's
and
16
she
in
can
Canada.
go and come back wherever when
marriage.
she wants to
Yeah.
Oh
go.
no,
From marriage.
Yeah,
I lost my goal.
16.
16, yeah.
I'll call back.
And go
Is
and
it
come back
16?
under your roof whenever you
Yes.
want.
No, in the
Yes.
Philippines it's
Yeah.
18.
All right, our time is gone. Just going to try to reconnect
Says you
to
can get married in Canada.
Prophet of God here.